to the video on 6 hours of sigmoid neuron by Society of Artificial Intelligence or SOAI. I am Ritul and these slides are created by my colleague Tushar. Move to the another slides. So our first slide is about 6 hours of sigmoid neuron recap of last lecture. In this we are going to learn about sigmoid neuron is the building block or the foundation unit of the deep neural network. Also, there are other similar networks like redox neuron and any other known linearity. As the slide name suggests, we will be having a quick recap of the last lecture, which included perception and would have a discussion about 6 jars of sigmoid neuron later in these slides. In this example, you are able to see this data which contains 0 and 1 as a input, real input, and the task in which the classification takes place with Boolean output. And there is a model, as we know that modeling takes place of the data in linear and waits for every input. So we are going to learn our first algorithm in which accuracy depends on the number of correct predictions divided by total number of predictions. 6 charts of sigmoid neuron revisiting the limitations of perceptron model. You cannot get the plane when the data is non-linear which separates the positive and the negative value. It cannot deal with non-linear separable data. Perception is basically only when you want 0 or 1 as your output or true and false as an answer. It varies sharp and harsh at the boundaries, but in real life, the decisions which are taken are rather smooth, curved, plotted on the graph. In perceptron, no intermediate is possible. It's either 0 or 1, which can be used only for binary kind of tasks. As we can see, the data which contain real input in the form of 0 and 1 and the task contain classification and regression, which gives us the output in the Boolean form, which is like real input 0 and 1 model. As we talked about harsher boundaries and linear. Now, this formula gives us the laws, and learning is about specific learning algorithm, and the accuracy is same as in the previous slide, which is number of correct predictions divided by total number of predictions. In this slide, we are taking an example of like revisiting the limitations of perceptron model. In this example, we are talking about can a person should buy a car or not, depends on the salary in thousands. Okay, now perception, you can see this perception model is y equal to n, I equal to 1, which sigma of I is greater than equal to b. Consider the following dataset. Plotting the perception results. The function looks like a step. It has value 50, beyond which the curve suddenly changes orientation. So it divides the input space into two halves, with negative on one side and positive on another side. This case produces in higher dimensions 2D, 3D, etc. It cannot be applied to non-linearly separable data. The function is harsh at the boundaries. We are going to see in the table as well, which be 0 and 50.1 and would be 1. In practical real life scenarios, a much smoother boundaries is more applicable. What is the road ahead? Okay, A. Data, which contains a real input. B. Task, that is regression or classification. Real output in the form of Boolean in the 0 or 1 form. Model, which is smooth at boundaries or non-linear, and because it's not a very advanced non-linear model, so we are facing some laws, and the most effective is learning a more generic learning algorithm, and the x-axis contains the data in which we are showing the salaries which from 0 to 50,000 and so on to 100,000. So if a person earns 20,000 salary, then the output is 0. That is, it cannot buy a car, and 30, which is similar to cannot buy a car. But if salary in thousand is 50, then it is 0.5% chance that he or she can buy a car or not. So in this case, we are taking one, that we can predict a person is going to buy a car, and if the salary is greater than 50,000, which is clearly seen in this table, 50 to 100,000, then possibly a person can buy a car. Let's move to the another slide. Sigmoid model part 1. The sigmoid function provides a smoother S-shaped curve as opposed to a stepped line wx plus b. In this, wx plus b is on the x-axis and y on the y-axis. The function is defined as y equal to 1 divided by 1 plus acceptation of sigma I wxi plus b, where I equal to 1 to n. You can see this in the third line or the third point. And the fourth point, substituting different values for w, t, x plus b and y, we can be able to trace out a curve similar to the one drawn above. Fifth, we can plot these kind of function using numpy. Okay, I would like to add numpy is the numpy array. We can plot these kind of function using numpy array. When we have two or more inputs, the wx plus b changes to w1x1 plus w2x2 plus and so on till b. We can take the dot product of two vectors. From the above we get w with power of t plus b. This graph shows wx plus b in the x-axis and y on the y-axis. If I am saying B is at point 50, then it clearly shows the person is going to buy a car. You can see this curve, and at this point, when the salary is greater than 50,000, I would like to add like 100,000, then possibly a person is going to buy a car, which the accuracy is 1. And if the salary in thousand is 0, then predictably the person cannot going to buy a car. As we talked, when a salary is 50,000, which is 0.5%, you can see this in this curve or in this slide. The curve is mentioned, and then we have two inputs. See the graph and understand the mathematical expression used. Substituting different values of w and x would result in the shape as seen in the curve. Whenever w1x1 plus w2x2 plus b equal to 0, then y is equal to 0.5. And if I draw a virtual line, then it simply shows that the probability is 0.5. Like a person can be buy a car or cannot going to buy a car. So in this case, we are going to take an example in which salary we are taking in lakhs per annum and family size, and after that the output will come in the form of boolean like 0 or 1 that buys car. So consider the following data set. The data set is visualized. Here even the sigmoid function doesn't effectively separate the outputs. We must play around with different values of w and b to find the best fit. This can be done with the learning algorithm. So the x-axis is salary in lakhs per annum and y-axis shows family size. In this chart, we are able to see if the salary in lakhs per year is 11 and the family size is 8, then possibly a person can buy a car. Or if the salary is 20 lakhs per annum or family size is 7, then a person positively can we can say that is going to buy a car. But if the salary lakh per year is 4 and the family size is 8, then person cannot going to buy a car. Similarly, if the salary in lakhs per annum is 8 and family size is 7, then possibly the person cannot buy a car. And the last case, in this the salary in lakhs per annum is 11 and the family size is 5, then person can buy a car. In this graph, the red dot shows the person cannot going to buy a car, but the green dot says the person can buy a car. You can see this. If the salary in lakhs per annum is 20 then possibly a person can buy a car. If the family size is 7 or 8, similarly, when the salary is 12 is above 12.5 lakhs, the graph shows that portion shows that the person can buy a car easily. But when the salary is smaller than 12.5, and as the family size begins to increase, then the chances of buying a car is getting lesser. So, but there are brain dots in this which shows that actually this data is about individual targeting. In this case, helps in selling car, but there are probability of not buying a car is very much greater as compared to buying a car. Now, decision boundary perceptron and decision boundary perceptron with sigmoid. In this case, family size begins from 1 to 8 and salary in lakhs per year is begin from 2.5 lakhs to 20 lakhs. In this, we can see that the graph is linear. It simply means if an individual lies in this green area, it's possibly going to buy a car, but exception is always there. That's why there are red dots as well. But if a person lies in this graph, in this portion of area, then a person is possibly not going to buy a car. As I told, the exception is always there. Then a few person can going to buy a car. But when we talked about decision boundary perceptron with sigmoid, then it gives us a clear visual value. The dark green portion simply tells us the person is positively going to buy a car, and the very dark red area which tells us that if salary is very lesser and the family size is very greater, then possibly a person cannot going to buy a car. Now, sigmoid model part 4. How does the function behave if we change W and B? W and B, as we learn, are the inputs. W is the controls the slope, whereas negative W is negative slope. Mirrored S shape becomes more harsh, vertical, less smooth. The more negative it goes. Positive W, positive slope, normal S shape because more harsh, vertical and less smooth. The more positive it goes. And B is the controls the midpoint, and this is the formula. Here we can see as B becomes more negative, boundary moves more to the right positive and vice versa. Here the sig Here the sigmoid neuron can process data similar to the perceptron, the difference being the output is real valued from 0 to 1. This allows us to perform regression where we predict y as a continuous value being some function applied to x, and y cap equal to function of x where f function is a sigmoid function in this case. Here is a simple similar to the perceptron except the real value output y. We can categorize them by looking deep in the threshold and having an approx value to predict the probability of whether that person has a chances of yes for it or a chance of no for it. This table shows us very deep concern about whether a new launched phone gives us in the form of configuration and a person by like to buy or not, with a price range vary from 15K to 44K, and battery with 3060 mAh to 3260 mAh and so on. You can pause this video and please understand the table, which is very easy to understand. And we are going to talk about loss function. What is a loss function used for this model? Here the squared error function is used loss equal to this function. Another useful loss function is called the cross entropy function. Consider the following data. Loss is equal to this, and this also works if y is boolean value. Okay, and loss is equal to this value. The interesting thing to note here is that in sigmoid neuron, each individual points contribute differently to the overall loss. Some points are more correct than others, and some are more wrong than others, whereas in perceptron it was either right or wrong, no degree of correctness or wrongness. Here, the input value are x1 and x2, and the output is in the form of y or y cap. It simply shows that if x is 1 and x2 is 1, then y is 0.5 and y cap is 0.6. If x1 is 2 and x2 is 1, then y is equal to 0.8 and y cap is equal to 0.7. These values came from loss of function and so on. This also works if y is boolean, which means output will come in the form of 0 and 1. So here if x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 1, then y is going to give us the positive value, that is 1, and y cap gives us 0.6, which is same as the previous table. So intro to learning algorithm. Let's talk about learning objective. In sigmoid neuron or any other model, we have parameters that influence the way the output is predicted. That is the way the curve is drawn. Changing these parameters, changing the curve. The objective of a learning algorithm is to determine the values for these parameters such that the overall loss of the model over the training data is minimized. Steps for sigmoid neuron. Initialize W and B, random initialization. Iterate over the data, update W and B for every iteration, and when satisfied that is loss is minimized. From the graph we can consider that we can change values of A and B and change the slope. This is the graph. X-axis varies from -5 to 6 and y-axis varies from 0.0 to 1.0. Different slopes varied from because of input data. Learning by guessing. Steps. The first step is to initialize W and B to 0, and step B is to iterate over data, guess and update. This is the function in which W is equal to W plus delta W and B equal to B plus delta B. And the third is here delta B and delta B are the amounts we change W and B by pure guesswork. We need to design a function to replace the guesswork till satisfied. Consider the following dataset. Manually change the slope W and midpoint till it looks to fit the data. Then perform fine tuning to match the training samples as closely as possible. We have cached by trial and error and found that W equal to 2 and B equal to -7 fits the training data best. Here W equal to 2 and B equal to -7. The slope comes out like this. Okay, this is the only possible in lower dimensions, one dimensional or two dimensionals, and becomes much harder as more features are involved. Error surfaces for learning. So far, we have iteratively modified W and B till we reached the values which yielded minimum loss. However, instead of smooth descent from initial value to the minimum, the loss fluctuates each iteration. For example, for the previously used dataset, loss over each iteration was now. The graph is like this, which is in the and the table is this. The iteration column shows the iteration from 1 to final. When iteration is first, then the value of W is 0 and the value of B is also 0 and the loss comes out is 0.1609, and we cannot decide whether the increase or decrease vary. So when the iteration is 2, W becomes 1 and B is 0 and the loss becomes 0.1064, which is decrease. So here the increase or decrease column which gives us the value that whether the loss decreases or increases. So if the value of B is going to increase and the value of B while going to decrease, the loss becomes minimal, and we can directly say that the loss is decreases. It is the mathematical setup for the learning algorithm. Delta B is the variable in value of W and delta B is the variable in the value of B. We need a principalized way of changing W and B based on the loss function. This is the graph, which is the math-free version of the learning algorithm. So initialize W and B, iterate over data, compute y cap, compute function W comma B, and perform these two functions till satisfied. And this is the algorithm, the learning algorithm, in which by using this we can easily create this algorithm in the form of math. Learning. Introduction to Taylor series. So first of all, we should know what is Taylor series. You can see that the formula of Taylor series is this. So you can copy this formula from here. So more intuitions about Taylor series is the real aim is this and this, loss varies this and this, vectorized Taylor series becomes this, and here we know that in practice eta is very small, that is 0.001 etc. So eta 2, eta 3 and so on all end up being negligible, so remove those corresponding terms. Now vectorized Taylor series is this. Here delta refers to the gradient with respect to 0 and it consists of the partial derivatives with respect to w and b. Here we are deriving the gradient descent update rules in the form of 3 steps and sub-steps. The step 1 is to ease of notation. Let delta theta equal to u. Then from Taylor series we have this, that is L theta plus eta u, rearranging L theta plus में eta u, rearranging L theta plus eta u minus L theta gives us eta multiplied with u delta L theta and t theta. Learning the complete learning algorithm. The complete learning algorithm. Here we should initialize w and b randomly, iterate over data, compute y cap, and compute L function in which there are two parameters w and b, and these are the two statements which will execute over every iteration. PyTorch, TensorFlow have functions to compute till satisfied number of epochs is reached, that is 1000 passes per epochs. Continue to loss function w comma b as a parameter t plus 1. So let's start how to write the code. Here is the Python code for gradient descent. This is how the algorithm works. The algorithm is we should initialize x and y in the following way. You can see this in line 1 and 2. We here initialize x and y in the form of array. Here in the fourth line we can see there is a function f with parameters w, b and x which return 1.0 divided by 1 plus np dot exponential function exp function. You can see this in the line 6, and in the line 8 there is another function which is error function with parameters w comma b sigmoid parameters. Here in the 9 line in the line 9 error equal to 0.04 x comma y in zip x comma 0 fx equal to function w comma x w comma b comma x in the 11th line, which directly calls to the function this, which is represented in the 4th line. After this error becomes error plus this, and after computing this statement this function return error. And in the 15th line there is another function, that is grad underscore b function with parameters w, b, x and y. This function f with parameter w, b, x calls this function and it returns the values which will store in the parameter fx, which, and this function will return fx minus y multiplied with fx multiplied with 1 minus fx. Then there is the gradient function w, and there is another gradient function w comma b comma x comma y as parameters, and fx store the value of return function, the return value from function f w comma b comma x as parameters, which calls the first function you can see in the line 4, which return the value by executing this and stored in the fx. Then this function returns this line after executing this line. So let's move 19th line, which is function grad w. So now let's move to 23rd line, which is do grad underscore gradient underscore descent function. Here w comma b comma eta equal to 0 comma minus 8 comma 1.0. It simply initialize with w as 0 b as -8 and eta as 1.0, and maximum epochs equal to 1000. For I in range max epochs, which is here I would like to add I moves from 0 to 999, which is max epochs minus 1. Here w dw comma db equal to 0 comma 0, which is like dw initialized with 0 and db also initialized with 0. For x comma y in zip, x comma y dw equal to gradient of this, and db plus equal to gradient of this function, gradient of this function which calls this and this, and after computing the whole function, w becomes w minus eta into dw, b minus eta, and t becomes b minus eta multiplied with b. Now dealing with more than two parameters. Here this table shows the dataset, and first of all let's move to the dataset. The dataset contains 4 columns with ER visits, narcotics, pain, and total visits. If ER visits is 0 and narcotics is 2, the pain becomes 6 and total visits is 0, and so on. Here, first of all, let's look at function f with parameters w, b, and x. Here, sigmoid with parameters w and b. Here, we do a dot product between w and x. Okay, so this function will return this line after executing, and let's move to the another function, grad underscore w underscore I function with parameters w, b, x, y, and I. Here we add I to denote the ith feature of fx equal to f function with parameters w, b, and x, which calls this function, and it will return after computing this in fx and after storing the value in fx, and after that function grad underscore w underscore I will return this statement after executing. Then sigmoid evaluation. Consider the following test data. Calculate the root mean square error RMSE equal to this. Here RMSE equal to 0.311. The smaller the better. As we know, the smaller the value of RMSE, that is root mean square error, the better it is. For classification problem, set a threshold E such that this and this. We can even use the accuracy method that we stated in previous slides. So in this table we can see there are a column with configuration and another columns are phone 1, phone 2, phone 3 and phone 4, which contains configuration in this column with respect to these rows. So launch within 6 months, X1, phone 1 is launched within 6 months, yes, it will give the positive value as 1, positive result, and phone 2 gives the output as 0, which simply means that the phone 2 is not launched in within 6 months. Similarly for phone 3 and phone 4, and then weight in grams, it simply gives the weight of these column or of these phones, and the screen size, dual SIM, internal memory, NFC, X6, radio, battery in mAh, price in thousands, liked by predicted by cap. So here we are going to draw a summary and take away. Now comparison between MP neuron, perceptron and sigmoid neuron. You can see this in the table with rows as NP neuron when the data is 0 and 1, task binary classification, model gx equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n xi, y equal to 1 if g function x greater than equal to b, and y equal to 0 otherwise. Loss becomes this, and learning is brute force search, evaluation is accuracy, and perceptron on real inputs, binary classification, and so on. And here the learning is perceptron learning algorithm. Evaluation is similarly to the MP neuron, that is accuracy, but in sigmoid the real inputs we take task, classification, regression. The model is this, and loss becomes learning is gradient descent, and evaluation is accuracy or RMSE. Thank you.